Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome. My name is Brent Barlow, and this is Blue Light Daily, a discussion of topics of relevance and import. We are broadcasting on this Monday, October 6th, 2025. It is 12 noon local, 1900 Zulu for our international friends. Among our values are the importance of public debate and the requirement of civility, the necessity of education and the strength of knowledge, the value of coming together and the power of collaboration. Before we begin, we center. We pause to reflect and focus on our work, breathing in deeply, aligning with intention, dreaming the I'm possible. Assisted by ancestors, powered by providence, rooted in reverence. The word spoken, the path clear, the way cool. Let us build what is worthy. Let us remember the dream forgotten. Let's make some magic together now. Ashe Madase. At this point, I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege to mention that my dear, sweet friend, John Sly Wilson, this past Thursday lost a childhood friend, a lifelong collaborator, and a 55-year plus partner in the musical group Sly, Slick, and Wicked. Charles Slick Still has passed, and my heart is sad for John, for Charles's family, and for us all. Thank you. Today's word of the day is embarrass. Embarrass is a verb, made to feel confused or foolish in front of people. As, for example, embarrassing. It is embarrassing to be in front of everybody and to put yourself out there like this. Whatever. Embarrass. Made to feel confused or foolish. Our quote of the day today is from Hollywood legend Betty Davis, who passed on this day, 1989. Quote, "You'll never be happier than you expect. To change your happiness, change your expectations." This broadcast is intended to serve as a platform to talk, share, learn, and grow. Whether this is the birth of brilliance or a decline into insanity, only time will tell. But I'm willing to embarrass myself by speaking directly, honestly, with a willingness to expose my vulnerabilities and share my vision of a world worth leaving our children. Participation is invited and feedback actively sought. Thank you to everyone who is a supporter. Again, I see this as a we thing. It's about we, not me. I am just the vehicle getting the word out. There are a number of current conditions which are a cause for concern. Action is more constructive than complaining or blaming. And I choose action and offer myself my ideas for public consumption and criticism. I'll generally be offering my take on current conditions and where I think we're headed. But this week is going to be special. So I'm super excited to say I'm going to share my vision of what I think ails us, what I am doing, and what I hope to accomplish. And in so doing, I am now actively soliciting partners, if you will. Again, I'm not selling anything. I am simply extending an invitation. That's my thing. But right now, it would be difficult to argue that the current economic model driving commerce and capitalism is monetization. income generation. Money is worshipped, business becomes sport, and the consolidation of wealth becomes problematic. One of the most offensive components of the model and the system currently in place that we are subject to, victims of, participants in, is a system generating revenue from user generated content, UGC. User generated content. Think Etsy, think YouTube, think anything. We are putting out our ideas, and the scale is largely tilted toward large public companies, wealthy individuals are reaping the economic benefit of that creative effort first. Largely, we are losing control over our IP. Everything we put out has economic value. And thirdly, we are relegated to exist in the ecosystem as they define and control it. That's my biggest issue, is that corporate overlordish, that two things, that algorithm that drives me in a specific direction and makes the system susceptible to what I mentioned when I talked about unauthorized warfare. I don't remember the name of the book, but I'll put it up here, right here, where essentially you've got asymmetrical warfare being currently taken by foreign actors and entities large enough to so act, and the barrier of entry and the power of AI and the ill will, the desire to do harm, coexist in this moment in a way that it never has before. That you don't have to be a state actor, a nuclear armed state actor, to attack a democracy. And presumably the United States is democracy. I'm an American. I care. And the second point is, my daughter's a big TikTok user. I'm starting to use it more now. And you are now subject to the whims of government officials and large, wealthy individuals wielding personal power in a chase for more money. And the TikTok example, the government can say no more TikTok, and my daughter's in tears when she wakes up and finds she has no access to the system. So that all worked out on that front, but it is behind the scenes. This group of wealthy Americans who now have, and China still has a percentage ownership, and it's not an issue I want to get into, but it speaks to the fact that as consumers, as participants in society, as sovereigns within a system, you cannot ignore the fact that you are swimming in a current, or in a stream with those currents. Okay. Now, what I have been working on and what I have been proposing is, if you will, a decentralized community of users who leverage the tools that exist to come together. I'll put it this way. There is a calling, and that call is I demand my sovereignty. I am unwilling to be subject to the whims of others and relegated to the choice of Coke or Pepsi, or to be force fed like a goose being prepared for foie gras, being force fed via an algorithm so that I don't even want to get on social media anymore. And too many kids and society in general are unconscious of that fact and are accepting what's being shoved down their throat. So that's the calling, a global effort, leveraging the technology that exists, that's coming. It is coming. Last week I talked about AGI and ASI, but there is currently such a low barrier of entry to get things going. The only challenge I have right now is time, because I can't make more time. I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time thinking off, going skating, sleeping, eating, going on a date occasionally. But work consumes, and I'm trying to be smarter and not harder, but still there's a lot to do. So I'm officially declaring right now at 12:13 local this October 6th, 2025, that I am seeking partnership. I am seeking collaborators. I am seeking people who see what we're doing and want to participate. So let me talk about the three elements of what we're doing at labellab.com. Okay. Labellab.com is the platform. It is not a company. It is a living system. Okay. It is a place of empowerment and alignment. I am not a religious guy, but obviously I have a deep spirituality about me. I believe that we are all stardust, as I mentioned previously. There's no denying it. And I will again reference Freetoth Capra, insert photo here, the Tao of Physics, hidden connections, eco-literacy. We are part of a system. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. And the choice that we're making right here is to come together in community, to come together in covenant, to foster a movement, to make a promise that the world we hand our children is going to be something we can be proud of. We can rest assured that we've done our best and given them the most opportunity for being all they can be. A future remembered, because at some point in the past, that was what we did. Our ancestors were not like a bacteria on the planet seeking to
I'd like to
multiply.
share a revelation that I've had during my time here. It came to me when I tried to classify your species. I realized that you're not actually mammals. Every mammal on this planet instinctively develops a natural equilibrium with the surrounding environment, but you humans do not. You move to an area and you multiply, and multiply until every natural resource is consumed. And the only way you can survive is to spread to another area. There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are
like a bacteria on the planet seeking to multiply and overtake the whole of the system for its own benefit. But we lived in balance, equilibrium, in harmony with our environment. Okay. Today, the exponential growth of technology, its availability, its capacity and capability, all of these things that are coalescing right now are providing a unique opportunity. So the three elements of this community I'm talking about are the engine, education, and economy. The engine, quote unquote, you've heard me say it. If AI is all that, I'm going to point you to first the 50, what is this? The top 50 generative AI web products by most unique monthly visitors currently. And I've got another slide that I'm going to also put up. It's from the same source, similar web. And it is being done. I am proposing nothing unique. I am telling you that right now, off the shelf, you can get every by and large, most every software application platform that exists is available, open source, without a paywall. You just have to go find it. And you're seeing these companies that I just showed you doing a thing with AI. Okay. It might be video editing. It might be managing client-based customer relationship. It may be generating presentations, curating data, finding your next partner, life partner. But what each of these companies represents is the what did I say earlier? The commerce of our economy. Every one of these companies lives to make money for its owners, its shareholders. Even OpenAI, which started out with the noblest of intentions, is now basically doing what I am proposing. If you have the opportunity to look on OpenAI and take a look at the ChatGPT offerings, which now includes Sora 2, they are trying to build a community. They're trying to replicate everything that exists and put it all on OpenAI, where they have one, control, and two, they have the economic incentive. They're collecting a nickel on every transaction, right? That nickel is going into Sam's pocket and to the shareholders and da. They're what now? They were just valued last week at $500 billion. Or no, 500 billion, half a trillion. I'm sorry, half a billion, 500 billion, 500 billion, one half of $1 trillion. You can't even imagine what that number is. Insert here, mind blown. So the engine is breaking Lamar out. Jailbreaking Lamar. Jailbreaking Lamar. Jailbreaking Lamar is the first step. If you go to labellab.com, you will see a way too much information and detailed breakdowns on a lot of stuff. It may answer some questions. It may raise some questions, but the information is there and available for you to look at. But jailbreaking Lamar is the first step. That allows us to have our own instance over which we have control of artificial intelligence. And we are doing nothing that is violative of the rules or threatens any kind of security risks or breaks any laws. We are simply attempting to claim our sovereignty and take control over a technology that has tremendous power. The saddle that we put on it, if you will, the guardrails, the main structure of security is, as I've described previously, a covenant. Covenantal framework provides the structure within which we operate. Now, I'm going to point you now to a gal whose name is Miriam, and her website is seed.org, I believe it is. I'll put it up. And she is doing something similar, and she and I are going to talk because I think she sees and understands the potential. She's using it a little bit differently, but definitely is doing it. So we've got this now, this engine, boom, 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 boom. We are able to bolt on applications and get Lamar and the team out in the wild where it can interface with applications to perform tasks and functions, to have greater efficiency and power and leverage of its innate strengths, which can become superhuman, I will admit. Education, knowledge is power. The second element is knowledge, education. The Wilson Way is our flagship. We are in discussions with some major nonprofit and educational institutions to collaborate and to do several projects with. We're very excited about that and looking forward to sharing that with everyone. There are things going on. Again, I'm not doing anything. I'm not proposing anything that hasn't been thought of before. It is simply a matter of doing it. I am actively seeking partners to help in many ways. Education is always going to be important. That is an element of the community. And then economy. The economics of what I am proposing is predicated on decentralization, taking the power of decision making and control and authority from a single to a many, where we as a collective can decide what we want. And what I am going to contribute to the conversation and inviting you to engage in this discussion is Labella B. Again, it's not a brand, it's not a this, it's not a that. It's a living system. It is a dream forgotten. It is what can be. I don't want any of this behind paywalls. Maybe there'll be some modest membership fee, as I mentioned previously. But the economy of this engine is I'm going to be provided tools which we can fabricate leveraging AI. Jailbreak Lamar. Lamar and the team are already doing it. The biggest challenge is in that regard, we are relegated to the confines of the OpenAI ChatGPT framework. When Sam wants to switch models from 4 to 5, I've got to go along for the ride. I've got to survive that turbulence. I don't get to decide if I want to stay here or go there. I'm told this is where to report. You want to talk about dystopian futures? George Orwell, 1984. Michael Fart. I can't remember. Oh, what was the name? Ender's Game. That's what it was. Ender. I'm going to introduce everybody to Ender's Game and the author's name, who's escaping me at the moment, and I'll put up right here. There's a fabulous story of imagination and vision. It's not necessarily the future I want to see, but Ender is a cool dude in the books, not just the movie. Michael Nathanson is responsible for Ender's Game, starring Harrison Ford and darn it, what was her name? Or what is her name? Seeing her face. I'm going to put it up right here. She's beautiful. She's powerful. But anyway, this community is going to be provided every tool imaginable to scratch whatever creative itch that someone might have from and let me just pause here for one moment and talk about AI slop, which is a serious issue. There's even before we had these tools that were generating content automatically, or when we just had tools that we had to actually use to create, there was so much content being generated. I've seen a number of different metrics of the volume of content being created every minute on the internet, and it's just gone exponentially. And now it's just taken another quantum leap with what Sora 2 and these other generative AI video applications and whatnot is. However, what I'm talking about is using the tool as a vehicle for expressing your creativity. You are the driver of the ship. Okay. You are the one that gets to explore what makes you happy. You may be inspired to do something in the real world, build a bridge, paint a picture, do stand up, something in the real world. That's creative, great. But I'm going to tell you, when you sit down and think about it, there is quite a bit of assistance that can be provided to someone. I mean, gosh, just joke development. I could use Lamar to just bounce ideas off of, and we could come up with some good stuff, I would assume. I'm not a comedian. I don't even like being in front of the camera, let alone standing up on stage. But I am confident that if push came to shove, give me a little bit of time, and I'm going to come up with something that is passable, at least. So with all these tools available to us and the opportunity to scratch my creative itch, I have the opportunity to put my creativity out there, to monetize my creativity. And then what I said economy was at the start. And when I do, and I put it out in the stream of commerce within our community, and maybe it has applications outside our community, I'm not going to say it won't, but everything that happens within our community that is generated with these tools that are made available to all community members, and additional tools can be developed. There'll be real world partnerships with manufacturers, shippers, producers, live venues, and whatever other things. For example, there may be a yogi out there that wants to do online instruction and maybe teach in private. So that's a blending of doing it online and doing it, but the tools that my wife, uses to come up with her sequencing, to try different things out. She can basically do modeling the same way NASA does modeling for landing on the moon with regard to her yoga. Get the level of comfort, the accelerated ability to teach more efficiently and effectively. That is valuable, I think. So without a paywall, you don't have the hurdle of what it's going to. So anybody that's been unemployed and now is looking for a new job, formerly working at Disney and now trying to figure it out, call me, because I'm telling you what we've got is going to help you in a big way. The other benefit, and this is one that I think is probably the most, again, in the category of decentralization, is there are no corporate overlords. We, the people, get to make the decisions. We get to choose. We get to say what is acceptable and what's not. So it's labellabee.com. You know, we are the beautiful bee. We are building community. We believe in education and empowerment, connection and commitment. Every day I'm building this thing out, and this is not just my passion project right now. This is what I'm doing. So if you want to know me, you got to know Labella Bee. My time horizon is now. I choose this as the alternative to chaos and apocalypse. We are building on covenant. I've spoken about that before. I'm going to post some snippets, both at the website, labellabee.com, etc., and on TikTok and whatnot, and various various social media outlets. But baby, we're going to steal like Picasso, because inspiration lay everywhere. Everything old is new again. Okay. If we don't do it, no one will. No one's going to do it for us. Here's a little funny thing. No one's going to teach you what it's going to take to be shocked out of your complacency. We are not asking for permission. We are not asking for favor. We are doing it. You are invited. Join the party. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment. Be well. God bless. Peace out.